Alright, bro, it's T, and I'm back with a video, and it's a review on Greg Doucette doing a review of Sam Sulek is losing muscle. Let's review this video.
So you can hate me as much as you want. Oh, Coach Greg, you're talking about Sam Sulek too much. Yeah, whatever. But I want you to learn something. I want you to be able to go to the gym and eat effectively to maximize your progress.
You're so concerned about us going to the gym and eating effectively and going to the gym. I bet you are, with that fake anabolic cookbook.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Sam Sulek joins Bro Chat, and in particular, he's speaking with Fouad Abiad, Ian Valere, Mike Van Wyck, and Paul Lazon. The most interesting part of the conversation surrounds Sam Sulek's diet. Of course it's his diet. Everyone, including Sam Sulek and myself, can learn from them.
Sam, how often do you binge, or is most of it just geared to your calories? Well, I mean, in a dieting context.
And so Sam says, how?
You mean how much does he binge on fake food that he's not supposed to eat? Like, you mean eating grass what the cow eats and not eating the cow? Let's find out.
How often do you binge? And he's saying, well, on a cut? Because have you not seen my diet?
This is where they start making up all the fake stuff in the fake man-made world. They're so against nature. They're so untouched, or should I say, unconnected with nature, that they live in the man's world. They basically are just faking stuff. They'll put anything in their mouth.
Why would I ever want to binge? I'm literally binging every single day. He's eating donuts, burgers.
There's no such thing as binging. Donuts don't exist in nature. Burgers, well, they're kind of mashed up with who knows what is in there. So that's processed. Burgers are processed. That isn't natural.
Chocolate milk. And so why would he want to binge on top
Chocolate milk isn't natural either.
of that? He essentially eats everything he wants, following an if it fits your back.
So he has a box of fake food there, and he has some milk that's pasteurized, which is fortified. It is fortified with these fake vitamins and things after it's been destroyed. And now he's eating a box of I think it's sawdust. Yeah. Basically, this, what do you call it? Any fiber that's in there that's made from wheat and stuff, oats, wheats, or whatever the hell that's made out of. It's basically like you're eating sawdust. You ever see how that looks when it's dry? You ever see when they give it to a cow, it's dry? That stuff is so dry. It's like eating bark off a tree. But what they do is they grind it down to a powder, and you're eating ground up hay powder. Hay powder. What value is in there? Oh, I forgot. They fortified the cereal as well. Sure.
Diet, and so of course not. He's not binging.
So let's see. He's eating artificial food. He's taking artificial hormones to create artificial strength and to create artificial muscles. Yeah.
When it comes time to cut, and he is in a very low-calorie diet, under 2,500 calories a day, up from 5,000 calories when he's bulking, and he says, well, the first week or two, no big deal. I'm actually sick and tired of eating all that junk. But remember, Sam has...
Does he look sick and tired to you like he's eating all this junk, man? Do you actually think he's building muscle? Does anybody on here watching this, and even Greg Doucette's subscribers, think this guy's building muscle?
Amazing genetics. Amazing genetics to not only put on muscle, but to be lean.
Holy shit, he has amazing genetics because he took some fake cosmetic, injected himself to create a fake cosmetic look. Let's see, what else is he doing? He's got some fake strength and then fake muscles because of that cosmetic, eating the fake food that's fortified with shit. It's all fake, man. When is he ever going to eat real food?
Similar to Ian Valere, who I've in fact coached in the past. Ian could eat a ton of food, always stays lean. And so if
Ian Valere is another fake bodybuilder, man. This is ridiculous.
This is one meal, he can watch his weight go down several pounds on the scale. But for the most part...
He says he has great genetics. None of these people have great genetics. I could prove it. The reason why he's eating all that shit is because one problem he has is this thing. And I'll prove it to you. It's called What Determines Myonuclear Domain Size. You can find this short version in PubMed. National Library of Medicine. There's a section right here in the middle. I'll put it right to the top so you can read it. It says MND size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, beyond which extra nuclei are donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth. So if it's beyond that to support further muscle growth, what is he doing? How is he bypassing the myonuclear domain size? He's not. And then you have a second problem, which is muscle damage. So let's see here. He's not damaging any more muscles because everybody knows this. Anybody who's a real bodybuilder knows this. It's called recent advances in the understanding of the repeated bout effect, the protective effect against muscle damage from a single bout of eccentric exercise. So are you getting damaged? No, because the repeated bout effect refers to the adaptation whereby a single bout of eccentric exercise protects muscle against muscle damage from subsequent eccentric bouts. So there isn't any more muscle damage either, where all these people are telling, I'm getting damaged. Yeah, you're getting brain damage is what you're getting. All of you are brain damaged. So how does he get over it? How is he getting over this? He's not. How is he getting over this? He's not. So what is his second option? What do people that lift get? Their second option? Well, I'll show you. They get artificial muscle growth. They get this. It's called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Basically, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is a kind of artificial muscle growth. You train the muscle for no other reason than to visually increase its size by increasing the amount of fluid it can hold, but you do not increase the density of the muscle fibers. So what is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? It's a type of artificial muscle growth. So that's what these people are getting on steroids. Do you understand me, man? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Yeah, bro.
Most of us, we're not like that. If we eat in calorie surplus, don't follow a proper diet, a lot of us can get fat. These guys...
A lot of you people could get this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy really easy. It's really easy to load. I could tell you how to do it. Just eating bowls of potatoes. If you eat shitloads of bowls of potatoes, which is complex carbohydrate, you can create the same phony muscles like these. Now, I'm not talking about you able to keep the muscle fat down on the skin. That they're using specific anabolics to create that artificial look. Now, to get the bulk look, the really bulky look, the sarcoplasmic bulky look that they do, which is really easy for them, just pumping muscles up by lifting. Well, what they do is that it's absorbing all this glycogen in the muscle. That's what they're doing. That's what bodybuilders are seeking, the sarcoplasmic. They're just seeking to get big, so it's sarcoplasmic muscles. That doesn't increase strength. Their strength is due to the molecules. It's artificial strength binding to the myocytic androgen receptor. I can prove that too if you don't believe me. I can actually bring that up too. Myocytic androgen receptor strength. Look, hold on a second. I think I misspelled that. I don't know. Hold on a second. Pub. See this? See, myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, but not the mass of the limb muscles. PubMed, right there, bro. See, what controls the strength? Well, it's that strength to lift something heavy. The myocytic androgen receptor controls that strength. So when you take these androgens, they bind to the receptors, giving you that maximum force production, but not the mass of the limb muscles. So what controls the mass of the limb muscles? Well, you already know, satellite cell. It controls that. Okay, so they even tell you here that when they remove this AR, demonstrates that myocytic androgen receptor controls key pathways required for maximum force production. So when it was impaired, this thing went down. There was a decrease in muscle strength. See, thus demonstrating that myocytic androgen receptor controls the key pathways to maximum force production. That's why if you don't really understand science, you're not a scientist, you don't understand any of these things. So people just tell you they're fake science, get it? To confuse you. Yeah.
Guys, very lucky, very fortunate that they don't put on a ton of weight when they're binging.
There's not even a need for it to really have like a cheat day per se. It's almost like kind of always a cheat day.
Every day is a cheat day, and so he doesn't need cheat days when he's on a bulk.
So I actually...
Of course it is a cheat day because he's just building fake muscles. He actually knows this. He's probably quite intelligent. He probably understands a lot of this.
I have a good question because we were talking about your cut while you were bulking. And you said you were going to go down to like 2,500 calories. And at the time, you were taking in like 5,000.
I like how these nimrods all believe that this is real. What they're doing, what they're creating is all real. It's all fake. Everything they're doing is fake. Fake houses, fake cars, fake food, fake man-made world. If it's not in nature, it's fake. When this planet, I can prove it, when this planet is taken over, it'll be taken over by nature. Everything that man creates is fake. It'll disappear. Everything that man creates is fake, even if he manipulates the environment. Nature will take it all over. That's why civilizations are lost. We can't go so far back as 20 or 25,000 years because they all disappeared due to nature, because whatever man creates or manipulates from nature is fake, man. Get it? Only nature is real in nature. Whatever is in nature is real. This is all fake. You're just wasting time here.
Or some shit. Have you cut that far, or did you take my advice? No, I just smashed it. That's what I've done the last 2 cuts.
And so myself and Fuad, we don't always see eye to eye, but on this particular subject, we believe the exact same thing.
Yeah, he just smashed it during that cut. Yeah, sure.
Sam Sulek did not need to cut his calories down to 2,500 or less. And he's eaten 5,000.
He doesn't have to cut. Listen, I have friends that took steroids. They're bodybuilders, and they were popular. They were doing a bunch of things way back in the day. They were even competing. They took anabolics and they kept eating pizza. Okay, they took anabolics to create that fake ripped look. They didn't diet at all.
1,000 calories a day on a bulk, and so Fuad said, why would you cut your calories this low? It could impair your ability to put on muscle. Best case scenario, you're simply going to maintain the muscle that you put on, but don't you want to put on more? Why would you go on such a low-calorie diet that you're sacrificing some of that muscle?
I guess there's nobody else to talk about on the internet, but eventually the hype around this guy is going to disappear because there's other people coming around. I don't know why they're talking about him so much. Maybe because he's just a simple fellow. Or maybe it's the way he's eating or something he's doing. I don't know.
Yes, he states in his video that you have muscle memory and you can regain that muscle a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that muscle memory doesn't stick around too long. I don't know about that. It's really difficult to say. I mean, you talk about sarcoplasmic hypertrophy muscle, that memory, yeah, it can come back really quick, the fluid. The cytoplasm, which is made up of the cell, yeah, the cytoplasm comes back fast, that jelly-like substance, okay.
But don't you want to not lose that muscle in the first place? If your goal is to become an
not want to lose that artificial muscle in the first place? Well, not really. Most people don't, but it kind of goes away really easily. That's why people are always complaining, my gains are going so fast. I left the gym, I went on vacation for 2 weeks. I lost my gains. Some of my gains are going. Yeah, you're losing your fake gains.
PB Pro have the most muscle.
Sarcoplasmic gains are going, and you're losing them faster than the last time. They go away really quick. Just like that fake strength that when you practice to lift something, you get these androgen receptors, blah, 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 some motor units proliferating. When you go away for 10 days or something, that strength goes fast, really fast. Lifting something heavy goes fast. I could prove it. That's why a lot of people complain. I can show you videos. They complain coming in the gym and they say, yesterday I could squat 400, but today when I went to squat, I could barely do 200. You want to know why? Because the energy receptor strength. It's fake strength. Get it? That's why you could do something so heavy yesterday, but when you went back the next day to do it, you couldn't do it anymore because you've lost that strength because it's fake. Get it, man? You have to practice at lifting something heavy. It's not based on muscular strength. It's based on myocytic androgen receptor strength and motor units. Yeah.
humanly possible, why would you sacrifice or limit some of those gains?
So what's your calorie intake per day? Well, I mean, so I track it. Let's see what the last couple of days have been. But it's been good in terms of being at 2,500. Yeah, 2380, 23. I've even been going below.
And Fuad, he's shocked. You can see it. 2380. Fuad's shocked. He reacts. He's thinking, how on earth can you have that much muscle, cut your calories to less than half, and still continue to train and make gains? But one thing they don't discuss, one thing they don't talk about, is the fact he's on performance-enhancing drugs. We don't know if on a bulk he goes on lower doses and on a cut he adds in something. How do we know he's not only on HRT when he's bulking and then when he goes on a cut he adds in tren? It could be a number of things. Perhaps he goes on a cut, adds in growth hormone, ups the doses, does anything. And so when they ask, hey, do you have the same strength? Are you able to lift the same weights? Do you still get a pump? Yeah, absolutely. Well, how do we know that's not because he's added in certain specific compounds? They do not want to discuss this. They're not talking.
Because it's all fake. The strength, the compound, everything that he's doing is fake. This is all man-made fake stuff, bro. Yeah.
About this, and so we simply don't know. But I can tell you, and I promise you this, if you go from a bulk to a cut and you eat less than half of the calories you're eating on a bulk, you are going to limit your gains. There's no...
No, you're not. No, you're not. If you go, you're not going to limit your gain. If you go on a cut, yeah. If you drop this fake food, then definitely you're going to lose something. I don't know. It depends what he's taking. These hormones are very powerful to retain this glycogen in the muscle, and then if you're taking anabolics, it's going to remove the triglyceride within the cell of the fat cell. It'll drain the fat cell, the triglyceride. That's all it'll do. Dry you out.
No way you can go on a bulk, make all those gains, and eat half of that, and have the same amount of gains. It doesn't make sense. It's not possible. And if it was, why would you go on that big of a bulk in the first place? Think of it. If you're making gains, no problem, great pump, living life, having a great time in the gym, nothing's hindering your progress at 2,500 calories. Why would you eat 5,000 calories if it's not making a massive difference? And so if it's helping you a ton to go up to 5,000 calories, it has to hurt you to go to 2,500 calories. That's why
Well, you're basically starving because your food is fake, and the more fake the food is, the more starving you're gonna be. If he's dropping calories, he's not dropping a high nutrient diet, he's dropping calories. So basically sugar and toxins. You remember, these man-made foods are made from these engineered man-made fruits and vegetables, and so you can't really digest fiber. Cellulose is impossible to digest. The fiber is impossible to digest for humans. You can't. And you're just absorbing sugar, and you're absorbing these toxins, which over time will cause accelerated aging. It'll cause diseases eventually, and more cellular damage, which it will be hard to reverse with time. And it could speed up rapidly. That's why all these guys look so old, these bodybuilders. Some try to quit early. Some keep going, they just look diminished after. I don't know. It depends on the person, what they're doing, what they're eating, if they learned how to eat properly. But if you keep eating these more fake man-made foods, then you're really in trouble. Yeah, I don't know.
I keep saying to main gain. Why not eat 4,000 calories year out? He did that for the first 3 years of his training, as he described in this video earlier.
So 4,000 calories of sugar and oxalates and toxins. These oxalates, man, they form crystals all over your body. They really damage the shit out of your muscle. That's why a lot of people, when they eat too much of them, eventually with time, you get weakness in your muscles. You get weaker because they sit there, they crystallize in your joints and everywhere. And you have so many problems. Then you start complaining, strength, this, that, a whole bunch of problems. Because oxalate crystal formation and acid, man, they just fucking diminish the shit out of you. Your health is just destroyed. And they have this in fruits and vegetables and man-made foods, yeah.
But since that time, he's been going on bulks.
Sugar contains oxalates. Remember that. It is refined, but it's in there.
Cuts. He bulks for perhaps 3 or 4 months, and he says in the first month or two, he gains most of that weight. And at the end of that, he's basically maintaining a bulk. He literally said this in a video. He's maintaining.
I can tell you through experience that oxalate crystal formation really damaged my spine. Definitely damaged my spine. And it really did mess up my muscles and my bones and everything, even my skin. I'm still in the process to this day now to reverse all this because I had no idea what oxalates were. I had to study them. I'm not that type. Not too much in biology when it comes to biological science. I had to study that to understand it. So yeah, it's when it comes to the human body, you should try to study everything. It's complicated. Yeah.
His bulk. He's not going up in weight. He's not continuing to gain all that. And he gains the most
I'll
amount.
tell you in this video that your true diet is a carnivore diet, as natural as possible. Raw meat, raw eggs, raw everything, raw blood, raw organs, animal organs and things. Yeah, if you have to cook them, I wouldn't cook them that much, just enough to kill any bacteria on the surface and eat it, but try to eat it as raw as possible, even your eggs. And you'll be much more healthier and stronger than you would be eating these fake, artificial, man-made foods. Yeah, you understand me? Yeah, man.
Of weight in the first week. He described 8 pounds he gained in the first week alone. And he knows what he's doing. He knows it's not all muscle. A lot of it is food, water, glycogen, and so on. Fouad describes on a bulk, perhaps you can gain 2 pounds of muscle per month.
Does he know it's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy like I showed you here? Does he know that? Does he know it's this? Does he know his muscle growth is fake? It's sarcoplasmic. Sorry, I don't know. I changed this. Does he know it's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, a kind of artificial muscle growth? You're training the muscle for no other reason than to visually increase the size, increase the amount of fluid it can hold. Yeah, does he know this? Does he know? Yeah, of course he does. He must know something. But does he know about the myocytic androgen receptor? Does he know about the repeated bout effect? Does he know about the fake strength and all that? No, he doesn't really know that because he hasn't studied it.
And so do not expect that if you say you put on 20 or 30 pounds in your bulk, that it's all muscle. It's not going to be all muscle. Once you diet down, you'll discover how much muscle you actually put on after all that eating.
Zero muscle. He put on zero muscle. I can tell you that.
Noticing a difference in pump? No. Make sure I'm fully hydrated, get some electrolytes.
Yeah, he might have added some mass to the muscle through some protein he's eating, but I doubt very much at all.
In my system. I get pumped every time. I was freaking out about the arm pump today.
And so he states.
See, he said, I get pumped all the time. I had my friends taking they took steroids. They took Sustanon 250, and my friend told me he got pumped out of this world. Anything he lifted, he got a pump, and that pump is actually glycogen. You don't get that pump on a carnivore diet. You get that pump when you're eating carbohydrates, especially complex carbohydrates. You get a massive pump. That is you're drawing through. I think it's, what is it? For every 3 grams of glycogen, 1 gram of water or something is drawn into the muscle. Yeah, you keep drawing in water into the muscle. This sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, creating fake muscles. Yeah, that's the whole idea. That's what bodybuilders are chasing. That's how they get that massive size. But they don't have the massive strength or build up in man, it's complicated. I can't compare right now powerlifters with bodybuilders. I have to explain this in a separate video. They do. So powerlifters get some more mass on the muscle fibers because they're doing less of this pump work. And so if they're eating more protein, they're losing less energy, eating more protein as opposed to this glycogen, everything. Well, then they will build muscle, but they too can build sarcoplasmic, and that doesn't add to the strength. That only adds to the size of the muscle. So it's a fool. And so you're really relying on androgen receptor strength to pull that weight. It's not responsible for the mass of the limb muscles. Food is.
Simplify lengthy texts with AI-powered summaries. Safeguard personal.
And so he states, no, I'm not losing a pump. I feel amazing. I'm throwing up the 70s for 4 sets of 10. But here's the thing. If he was eating 3,500 calories instead of 2,500 calories, would he not be able to lift even more? 4 sets of 10 with the 70s perhaps would be 4 sets of 11 with the 70s. And so let's do some quick math. He's eating over 5,000 calories a day. Perhaps his maintenance is...
Look, to be a master at bodybuilding power, I'm a master at bodybuilding, powerlifting, anything that has to do with sports. I'm a master at it. So I understand the dieting part now completely because I had problems myself in the past. But I totally understand now. I totally understand the eating part and the lifting part and the strength part. I understand all these things. I understand the difference, why they're artificial, and what the difference is between real and artificial strength. You understand me? If you gain 10,000 more fibers, are you not stronger than your counterpart, what you were before you went there? Of course. Now that's real strength because you can feel it and touch it. Now, if you took an artificial hormone, or let's say you practiced at lifting something heavy and you got better at doing it, can you touch that strength? Can you feel it or touch it or see it? No, but you can see a silverback gorilla. He could bench press 4,000 pounds and he has the strength of 20 men. Why? Because he has more muscle fibers, that's why. And he doesn't have to practice at lifting 4,000 pounds. He can bench 4,000 without practicing. Can you do that? Well, if you get more muscle fibers, you can. And that's complicated because repeated bout effect and myonuclear domain size limit, it's complicated, man.
Around 4,500. Remember, he's in a bulk, he has to eat above his maintenance. The maintenance, 4,500 calories. If he's in a cut eating 2,500 calories, that's 2,000.
I know you're going to say, well, I want to gain mass on the muscle. Okay. So protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. Everybody, in science, it'll tell, I can't bring it up now again in this section here, but protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown in order for that muscle to grow. Yeah, I can bring this up too. So here's another part, which is difficult, which he's not doing. So for that, for muscle, if muscle is going to gain mass, this is mass on the muscle. Protein synthesis must exceed protein breakdown. But again, it'll still reach a myonuclear domain size limit. That's the problem with the mass, getting this mass onto the muscle. You can get some mass, but it only gets so much mass because you need those myonuclei to further that growth. That myonuclei synthesize. What myonuclei do is they synthesize protein. So that's why people don't understand this. They're like, well, I got protein synthesis 24 hours. Well, show me who's growing after 24 hours in the gym, protein synthesis. Show me who's growing doing this. Nobody. Oh, you're going to say, well, so I know some people that got bigger. Yeah, they got sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You can't distinguish between these two. That is your problem. I can tell you how to distinguish between sarcoplasmic and getting this mass on the muscle. It's simple. If you're on a pure carnivore diet, this is the mass that you will gain. But if you're eating your carbohydrates like I know all of you are, eating what the cow is eating and not eating the cow, you're going to get sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. See this? This is really hard to do because it's like pushing a boulder up a hill because muscle is continually breaking down and synthesizing protein. That is the problem. And you need to exceed that, and then you need to maintain it. At net zero, muscle is going to maintain its mass. The net level of protein balance must equal zero. See what I mean? That is a problem. You can say, well, I'm maintaining it with lifting weights. Now, you don't maintain muscle lifting weights. Lifting weights break it down. You're continuously breaking down muscle now. That is the problem. You also have to exceed this mass plus the breakdown at the gym. You say, well, I'm opening a protein synthesis in the gym. You sure are, but you're also breaking down muscle. The protein, you're breaking down proteins. You're not damaging muscle. You're breaking proteins, not damaging muscle. Don't confuse the two, please.
Calorie deficit every single day. Times 7, 14,000 calories, 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. That's equal to 4 pounds of fat he's going to lose each and every week. That is an extreme deficit. 1,000 calorie deficit, that is a lot. You're losing 2 pounds of fat a week. That is a lot. And so if you're losing 4 pounds of fat a week, that is a starvation diet. And the fact he's able to continue to keep his progress.
You're all on starvation diets if you're eating these fake man-made foods.
He's saying he's close to peak strength even compared to he's in a bulk. The reason for that, and remember, he's 21 years of age, because of steroids. Let's not
So he's at peak lifting strength. Yeah, okay.
pretend that you can just eat in a 2,000 calorie daily deficit and keep all the strength you had when you're on a bulk. The average person...
Yes, you can. If you're taking steroids and they're binding with the myocytic androgen receptor, you're going to have that artificial strength. I explained this before. It's just like a woman. When a car falls on her kid, all of a sudden she gets an adrenaline rush of this powerful hormone. She goes and she lifts a car off her kid. How did she do it? Because it's artificial. Because the adrenaline is binding with the androgen receptor, giving her this false fake strength to lift a car temporarily. So you have temporary strength. You build temporary strength to lift something because you've been practicing at the gym and plus taking steroids. It's more artificial strength than the last time. Yeah,
if they were to try this diet, they're not going to see nearly the same results.
He's not coming down to like die for a show. So I think for when you're like just trying to resensitize yourself, I think just to smash him down, get yourself nice and hungry.
I love this resensitizing thing, man. You become desensitized to things because the repeated bout effect phenomena. Some things may go longer, but some things disappear a lot quicker. Like your sex life, like your love life and everything goes away due to repeated bout effect. It applies to everything when it comes to science. And even this, the sensity. The steroids stop working at a certain level because your body adapted to it. Every time your body adapts to something, that means it stops working. If your body adapts to this muscle damage, there's no more muscle damage due to being adapted, that means there's no more damage. That means that there's nothing to grow there anymore. The only thing you can grow is the mass of the limb muscles. But to grow the mass of the limb muscles, it is not, Look, to grow the mass of the limb muscles, hold on, where was that section? I can't remember. Here it is. So if this is responsible that controls the strength myocytic androgen receptor, then it says but does not strength but not the mass of the limb muscles. What controls the mass of the limb muscles? The mass. I'm talking about the mass. I'm not talking about you getting muscle damage and creating more myofibrillar growth. The mass. What controls it? It's really simple right here. This is what controls it. If muscle is going to gain mass, protein, this is what controls it. Protein synthesis must exceed breakdown right there. Breakdown, broski. See that? Breakdown, broski. If it doesn't exceed that, there ain't no mass. And that will reach a myonuclear domain size limit. Here's what happens. That mass reaches up. Look, during hypertrophic process, what happens here? This is the second part after 15 years of age. M&D size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, beyond which extra nuclei are donated by satellite cells to support further muscle growth. So that mass will reach a myonuclear domain size limit. Yeah, bro. That's why you're all chasing, what you're all chasing is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, the fake muscle growth. Yeah, man.
He's not coming down to like die for a show. So I think for when you're like just trying to
So they adapt these steroids. You adapt to it, and then now you need to take higher and higher dosages. That's why people are like, oh, he's taking high dosages of steroids because they stop working. They don't work no more, bro.
Sensitize yourself. I think just to smash him down, get yourself nice and hungry, resensitize things like that works.
Yeah, but he's doing this for 2 months.
Oh yeah, starve yourself and resensitize yourself. Yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah.
He's not doing it for 2 weeks. All that hard work in the bulk is
Resensitize yourself to more fake food. Yeah, okay. Fake artificial food. Man-made food.
you're gonna lose some muscle.
Exactly. Foot is bang on here. He's saying, I get this. If this was
Yeah, you're gonna lose some fake artificial muscle growth, sarcoplasmic muscles. Yeah.
a 2-week reset, you're eating in a dramatic calorie deficit.
Yes,
well,
yes.
I can get that. You're just trying to reset your hunger and so on. But you're doing this
Yes, Greg. Sure, okay.
for 2 months, a 2,000 calorie daily deficit. 4 pounds of fat a week for a month alone is 12 pounds of fat. That is a lot. 2 months, 24 pounds of fat. And have you
Well, if you're starving or if you're eating artificial food, you're basically starving. That's why you're gonna get fat. But if you're on anabolics, it will control that for you because it's artificial.
seen Sam Sulek in his peak bulk? Does he look fat?
He looks really nice and buffed and puffy. I love that look, bro. I love the artificial muscle look. It's cool.
to you? Does he look like he needs to lose a significant
It's fantastic how you can create anything in man's world. You can create anything fake. You can create just about anything fake. But to create that in nature is difficult. Yeah, within nature is difficult. That's why I pulled out all those reports. Those are nature. That is nature, natural, in the natural world. But in the fake world, you can create anything.
amount of weight? And so perhaps I can understand cutting from 15% to 10 back and forth. If he wants to do that, fine. But does he need to do it faster than last time? Why not be in a small calorie surplus? Fuad's point is that the smaller the deficit, the more muscle you're going to maintain. If you try to strip off all that body fat too quickly, some of it is inevitably going to be muscle.
You think it is? Wow, that's incredible. Okay, all right.
disagree because he just said he was tracking it. When you
strip it off, some of that's going to be muscle. Can you prove it, Greg? That some of this, if you strips it off, some of it's going to be muscle. What's the rest of it?
looking at the thing, it's still like,
of course he's going to keep gaining, right? But it's like, how much are you gaining?
Just because a diet is working doesn't mean it's working optimally. In the same sense, you could go to the gym.
Look at all that slave diet he's eating, all that shit. There's only that one piece of meat he's eating there, and they're noodles and shit, man. What the fuck is that? Is that noodles going to build you a muscle? No, they convert to sugar. You'll get more of this glycogen, the fake sarcoplasmic muscles.
I mean, lift half-assed the entire time, and you're saying, well, I put on 5 pounds of muscle this year. Yeah, it's great, it's working, but could it...
He lifted half-assed because he doesn't need to... You don't need to lift really heavy. That's just stupid shit to lift heavy on steroids. To build this sarcoplasmic muscle, it's based on the pump. You don't need to lift heavy. They're just pretending I need to lift heavy and I'm going to build muscles. You're not building muscle. How you build muscle is protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. That's how muscles are built. Yeah, bro, food builds muscles, real food. Protein does, real animal protein, and nutrients do. High nutrient protein diet, which is all found in meat. There isn't any deficiency in there. But all these fake foods are deficient in anything and they're fortified. They're all fake. Yeah, man.
Work better? Perhaps if you tracked your repetitions, trained to within 3 reps in reserve, or perhaps trained to failure, would that not offer you better results? And so it's not about saying, does it...
No, he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. It's all artificial, you dumbass. Why is this guy trying to convince you that this is actually real? It's like he's trying so hard to convince you that this guy has real genetics and this is real food and this is real, steroids are real, they build real muscles and all that. Because he's crazy, you understand? He's insane.
Work or does it not work? It's about does it work optimally?
My point was when he said he was doing 5,200, I remember
It doesn't work. He's just making this stuff up, bro. It's just crazy.
telling me like if you went to 4,500, you would lose weight on the scale. So my point was, if you're losing weight at 4,500, you don't need to go to 2,500. You can still keep eating more and still.
Well, that wouldn't be like on the 40. Like if I dropped it to 45.
It really doesn't matter. Just you convert one drug to the other. You drop the androgens. You go after anabolics now. That's all you're doing.
If I was doing 52 for a week,
Yeah.
it's not like I would lose any.
You could eat the same stuff and still create the same fake look. They're trying to make this seem like it's so complicated. It's bullshit.
Fat. I would just get less full of carbs. It's like my new sort of bulked weight would just be lower.
And so yes, Sam is correct. He's eating 5,200. If he went down to 4,500, he's not necessarily dropping any body fat, although the weight on the scale will go down. It's most likely glycogen, water, and food weight. But
Glycogen, water, and food weight. It's sarcoplasmic muscle weight. Yeah, it's fake artificial muscles.
could he not then just go down to 4,000 calories? If 4,500 is his maintenance, and he doesn't want to just simply maintain his weight, he wants his body fat to go down, why not drop it down to 4,000 or perhaps 3,500? What if...
Because he's trying to keep a lot of that artificial muscle that he pumped in there. You understand me?
3,500 calorie diet being 1,000 calories below his maintenance, would that not be enough? 2 pounds of fat a week.
This is so hard. This is painful to watch, bro. This is dumb stuff, man.
Is that not good enough? But perhaps he wants it faster than last time. Perhaps he wants to see dramatic changes faster than ever before. The dopamine rush from seeing yourself getting those shreds, the veins vasculate.
I don't know if he's getting any dopamine rush or anything from any of that. I have friends on steroids. They were getting dopamine rush. I almost look like pretty much in my pictures, if you see my old pictures on my community section and stuff, or even on the front, I look like pretty much like an open bodybuilder. I was so big, man, nothing fit me. I was massive. I reached the weight of think about 280, 285. And I really ate protein and I really built my body using nature. I didn't use any steroids to do that. And yeah, my body fat was pretty low, but he didn't get like super that muscular weird look. But that weird look is due to anabolics creating that.
Striations. Perhaps he doesn't want to wait several months. He wants to see it right now. When you're young, you're very often impatient, and so perhaps Sam wants to see the shreds with only 2 months of dieting.
But I mean, over the last 2 like good cuts, I've gotten pretty diced and I was still heavier than before.
No, and look, I'm not saying it. Obviously, it works, and obviously
He got pretty diced, Better than before, okay.
It's working for you. I just wonder if you kept eating a little bit more food, if you'd retain more muscle from the bulk.
Well,
Holy shit.
obviously he worked.
Holy shit, he actually called that fake artificial food, that he called it food. He called fake man-made food food. It's not food, bro. That's not food. You're not eating food. I know a scientist actually he's now putting sawdust into whatever you're eating there, more artificial food, and then putting sawdust in it. Is that food?
She's 21 years old and not natty.
Look, would you eat a bunch of wheat you saw in a field growing, or a bunch of grass or wheat? Is that food? Well, if you're starving, you could consider that food. But is that for human consumption? Is that food? Human consumption food? No. It's for herbivores. They consume that. We're carnivores. We don't consume that. You can eat it, but it'll damage you in the long run doing that.
I mean, he could do anything. He could literally be eating ramen noodles, bulking on chocolate milk and cereal.
Ramen noodles don't exist in nature. None of these foods exist in nature, and none of us in nature would ever eat that food. In nature, we would eat our natural diet, which is a carnivore diet.
Burgers and fries, cutting on a starvation diet, and still put on muscle. Oh, wait, that's what he's doing. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But do you think this is going to continue?
He is, and how's he doing that, Greg? Because of sarcoplasmic muscles, bro, on drugs, artificial food, artificial strength, artificial muscles. Yeah.
Ever? Do you think when he's 31 years of age, perhaps as old as Ian Valere, having competed for years, do you think he'll be able to get away with this? Of course.
He's going to be completely diminished doing this artificial stuff to his body, because it'll destroy his body over time, and him. Even his mental state will be destroyed.
Not. And so, yeah, when you're young, 15, 16, 17, 21, you can do...
Yeah, because you're not taking on as much cellular damage. Your body's, trying to repair it and get rid of it and whatever. But over time, the cellular damage will increase. More damage, more chemicals, more things, more artificial stuff. Chlorine in your water, fluoride in your water, bacteria, estrogens, the glyphosates, the pesticides, fungicides, this, that. These fake man-made foods are filled with pesticides, fungicides, all kinds of stuff. They're just so nasty, man. They destroy you really fast. That's why people can't do anything after 38. They're completely diminished. They have to retire, some even earlier, depending. And these powerlifters, they retire in their 20s right away, because they're just completely dead due to oxalates.
Do anything and make gains. You can train and do everything wrong. You can eat the wrong kinds of food. Hardly eat any protein.
Look at this tennis pro, Djokovic. He had to quit. He went on a vegan diet. He had to quit because all the injuries and everything, his health is destroyed on vegan diet. See? He thinks that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, bro.
You're still making progress. But are you progressing optimally, and are you healthy?
Ian, would you...
Canadians have been given a way to reduce inflation quickly. Elon Musk has recently developed an innovative...
Ian, would you agree that the more muscle you have, the easier it is to
It's absolutely unhealthy.
lose? And maybe lose is
I
the
think,
right
I think
word,
that for anything, the farther away you are from homeostasis is going to be harder to maintain.
Exactly. And since Sam is only...
Homeostasis is harder to maintain? No, he's on drugs. So he doesn't need to worry about homeostasis. It's not going to go back there as long as he's producing this artificial, this stuff artificially.
21, and he's got so much more muscle that he can put on.
When he stops doing the artificial stuff, that it'll go back to homeostasis. For sure.
It's much easier for him to retain it. When he goes on these diets, his body isn't thinking, oh my goodness, it's so hard to maintain 230 pounds of muscle. It's not at that level yet. But once he gets to 250 pounds lean, it's going to be that much more difficult. And so the older you get, the further you go above your maintenance, the harder it is to not only...
No, it'll be hard to maintain because it's because the steroids are going to adapt to everything he's taking. So he's going to have to take more and more steroids. That's where he's starting to get worried. He noticed they stop working, and then he notices he has to take higher and higher dosages of that. Plus, there's calcification of the arteries doing this, a bunch of things causing him problems, liver, kidney problems. You're basically disintegrating, destroying
build muscle, but to retain it when you're on a diet.
But if he's saying his training performance isn't suffering, then I don't think that there's a significant risk of muscle loss.
And so here's the thing. Ian is saying if his training performance isn't suffering, he's probably not going to lose
I
it.
like how they make it sound so serious.
much muscle. Yes, and Ian is 100% correct. But if he
Ian is a dumbass.
were to eat more calories rather than maintaining that muscle, he could in fact put more of it on. Why keep preaching about maintaining? It's not that it builds more muscle than bulking. It's just that you're slowly building.
All the people that are watching this channel are just as dumb as Greg Doucette. They believe everything he says. They think he's a god in the industry, and he's nobody. He doesn't know anything. I'd have beat this guy. I'd have beat any bodybuilder without these drugs. If they never existed, I would have beat all of them. Look at my pictures. I'd have beat all of them, bro. Get it? They'd have never been able to compete with somebody like me naturally. I would have blown them out of the water. I'd have been first place in everything. But because of artificial man-made world, man-made artificial drugs and all this, of course they're going to look the way. They're all going to compete against each other, taking the same drugs to see who will look better than each other. What if they just didn't have any drugs and try to compete against each other, see who would look better? That's what I try to tell you. It's difficult to build muscle. Really difficult to get that look, believe me.
Building muscle the entirety of the year. If you're bulking for...
Ask me, well, how did I do that? How did I bypass the myonuclear main size? How did I bypass the repeated bout effect phenomena? Why should I tell any of you?
3 months, you're putting on muscle during those 3 months, absolutely, I get it. But then if you cut for 3 months, you're not putting on muscle during that cut. You're perhaps maintaining at best, and if you diet too hard, you're going to lose some of it, especially if you're far above your maintenance. And so what Fuad is saying is bulking, cutting, that's great.
No, he's not. It's just all artificial, man. This guy's just fucking throwing out bullshit.
But not to this extent. Not in a 2,000 calorie deficit. Ford, I'm sure if he was...
God, he makes it sound like it's so serious. 2,000 calories. If you just starve yourself to death, yeah, he's going to lose this and that. It's all drugs, bro. Why is he trying to convince you that this is actually natural? I have to lower my calories. Nobody on steroids that I knew lowered their calories or did anything. They simply changed the drug they took. That's why they look so ripped so fast, because they took anabolics.
His coach would be saying, hey, try eating 3,500 calories. Why don't we go in a 1,000 calorie deficit and lose the weight?
Look at him. He's just rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing this way.
Slower, so that we can not only maintain muscle while we're dieting, but we can actually build onto it. Imagine
Oh, we can we? Okay, yeah.
Sam Sulek, he's bulking, putting on muscle, and cutting and putting on muscle. Is that not a better scenario?
Boy, you got to eat a huge roast a day. You got to eat like man, really build some of this good muscle. You'd have to eat, I'd say, about a good, I don't know, couple of pounds of meat a day.
Then bulking, putting on muscle, and cutting and maintaining it? That is what I'm saying. So you can hate me as much as you want. Oh, Coach Greg, you talking?
No, Coach Greg, I love you, Coach Greg, because you're a faker. You're the best fake guru that I know out there. That's why people love watching you, because this fakeness, it's wonderful.
That's absolutely too much. Yeah, whatever. But I want you to learn something. I want you to be able to go to the gym and eat effectively.
What do you want us to learn? How to be fake like you?
To maximize your progress.
I think maybe going that low for 2.5.
You're not, because you're not explaining how to get this progress naturally. You're just explaining how it's done artificially.
Months. I don't think you might need to go that.
That's why it doesn't work for anybody on your channel and you and everybody. That's why you're faking it, and your viewers are all trying to wonder why it's not working for them.
Long. I think for something like that, if you're going to drop that low, maybe in like 6 weeks would probably be long enough,
And so Ian even says, look, 2 months, 2.5 months dieting that hard, it's a little much. Perhaps 4 to 6 weeks. I could see you dieting that hard for 4 to 6 weeks, but anything longer than that doesn't think.
This is getting boring now, man. I'm done with this.
Actually lose muscle.
And so Ian says, well, do you think he's still going to lose muscle? He's still eating his protein intake. Yeah, he might not lose muscle, but not gain.
Will he lose some of that fake artificial muscle growth, sarcoplasmic muscle? I don't know. Maybe. It depends what he's doing. I don't know. He's on steroids.
It either. Just because Sam doesn't lose any muscle doesn't mean he didn't lose his gains. If you could have gained 2 pounds of muscle.
No, he didn't gain any. He didn't gain 2 pounds of fake muscles, or whatever he's gaining. He's not losing anything. He's on anabolics, bro.
On a cut, and you gain 0. Did you in fact lose muscle? No, you maintain.
He's not on a cut. He's on an anabolic shot. Anabolics to create that fake ripped look. That's what he's on.
But you didn't gain the 2 pounds you would have. And so my opinion, Sam Sulek should eat.
Can you gain some fake sarcoplasmic muscle on anabolics? Yeah, you could too. Yeah, of course. It's because it's what you're eating. Stop eating that, and you'll find that it won't build that easy.
Not in his off-season bulking, but during his cut. Off-season, he wants a
Why
bulk.
do you think these guys became colossal? These big bodybuilders became so colossal over time because they decided to eat more of the herbivore diet and pump more of this glycogen to create more of these fake muscles. The golden era bodybuilders, they weren't into eating all that herbivore diet, the glycogen and everything to create that look. They were more to an aesthetic, kind of nicer look. But once people realized, they saw these other bodybuilders try to compete, they're like, well, I have to get as big as I can. So they just kept pumping more glycogen in the muscle to blow themselves up like a balloon. How much of a balloon can I get myself? Okay, let's find out. So eat more of this herbivore diet and you just blow up your muscle to look super massive, like an elephant. And it's all fake at the end, bro. It just deflates.
5,000 calories a day, fine. But when he's cutting, he shouldn't be eating 2,500. He's not getting ready for the Olympus stage. He doesn't need to get to 5% body fat, and so why is he eating in such a deficit? Doesn't make sense if his goal is to maximize muscle growth. And if you're 100% natural and you're trying to maximize your gains, especially if you're in a dramatic cut, perhaps you want to check out G10.
Of course, he's going to sell you some G10, bro.
Often,
Some fake tablets. Some fake tablets. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Sam Sulek, losing muscle. It's all fake, bro, in the end. Yeah, I people watch this stuff and believe in this. I don't believe in any of this stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, man.